What's up, y'all? It's Ange. Ange inspires. I just want to be me and inspire you. I'm back. Okay. Look, I just got a quick message for you, and a quick little testimony bundled all in one. But I want to make this short and sweet. Look, I know it's springtime. Actually, no, it's been a few months that I've been dealing with this. Okay, everybody, I'm so glad y'all been taking y'all trips. You been going to the beach. You been showing off your beach body. You worked hard for that beach body during quarantine, and I'm proud of you. But guess what? I can't look at your pictures. I can't. I can't. And I gotta tell you why. um, Look, I love you, sis, but I can't look at your booty cheeks because I got a story and I need to tell it. So the past couple weeks has been a little intense for me because it's kind of been like a go from God as far as you need to talk about this. Go ahead. So I'm like, okay. So as I've been scrolling on Instagram, just in this past week, I'll talk about everybody's on a trip, which like I said, that's great. That's amazing. I'm really happy people are being able to get out the house, get out the country, explore, go to new places, get to the beach, put your feet in some clear water. You can see the bottom. Amen. Okay, you've been getting your beach body together during quarantine and you can show it off. Amen. I'm grateful and I'm glad for you. Um, but I have a struggle with um, seeing women with not a lot of clothes on, okay? And I'm gonna give you some backstory here. If you watched my testimony about going from promiscuity to purity, you know that I had a struggle with same sex attraction, meaning, I'm still attracted to women, okay? But God brought me out of um, the the lustful aspect of that. Like, I think that I'm still attracted to women. I will not act on those things because of my um, reverence for God and knowing that that's not what God wants from me. What I'm not saying here and not doing is I'm not condemning anybody and your preferences. Okay, I'm just letting you know my story, my convictions. Okay, and so when God brought me out of that whole situation that I was in, that included me not acting on any attractions I have to women, and what that means for me now after that is putting boundaries in place to keep myself from falling into that kind of sexual temptation or that lustful temptation or whatever you want to call it. The temptation to look at somebody and think about what they look like, if you get what I'm saying. And so, something that I wanted to talk about was just this um, I guess my story, and I think what might have fed that attraction. And so for me, I was exposed to pornography at probably 10. Yeah, I know it was in elementary school. I think I was about 10. I had a friend come over and she was like, "Ooh, I've been looking at this. Look at this." We watched some porn. We watch heterosexual, but we also mainly watch lesbian porn, right? Okay. And so that's what I was exposed to. And so that it became normalized to um pervert women's bodies and like see women's bodies in a different way, and it sparked my imagination when I was watching that, right? And that was, I probably, after being exposed, probably struggled with that for about 13 years. Because literally I stopped watching porn when that season of promiscuity ended. Like, all of it stopped. Pretty much cold turkey, honestly. My story is really interesting as far as how I stopped doing everything. But anyway, so when I stopped watching pornography, it was easier to not uh, act on the things that I was seeing because I wasn't seeing it anymore, so I wasn't really thinking about it. But my mind would still, like, our imagination still works, right? And so um, God has worked on it's the process of my mind being renewed, where I don't struggle as hard when it comes to women's looking at women and seeing them as children of God and fully clothed women. Um, but with this, uprising, just seeing people in bikinis and like barely bikinis, it has brought the struggle back up, I would say. Like, because I've seen it so much, it's kind of just been on my spirit to talk about like what I'm doing to keep from being distracted from what I know God has called me to. And so um, I think that because I had the experience of watching a lot of lesbian pornography and just having a perverted view of women and their bodies, and then also having like the sexual experiences with women, it put a different filter on the way I looked at women. And so what that means for me is being out of that is what that means is that I have to put in different boundaries than other people do, because I don't want to put myself in a situation where I go back to that type of view of women where I see you as purely a sexual being. I want to be able to look at women and celebrate their bodies and celebrate just the person they are and not only see them as what I see. And so um, something that I have put in place the past few years, honestly, is one, there's certain things I just cannot see because my human brain will take me to a place that I'm not supposed to be. And so, like, for example, like X rated and many R rated and mature movies where there's a lot of nudity and sex scenes, like, I just have to stay away from those things. And it's not to say that they are bad, or I'm not saying that if you watch them, like, you're, falling to temptation, because you got your own convictions and I got mine. But for me, like, I can't watch. So I watched Bridgerton, right? Because the hype was going on. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good." I'm like, "Okay, let me give it a try." That show was straight up sex, and I was like, "I can't watch this." Like, I can't watch this. Like, this is not, because this is leading me to think about like what I would do in these situations, or making me want to go out and act those things out. I can't, when I'm on social media, I've literally had to unfollow people if there's too much nudity on their page. Like, if I could see everything but, you know, what is covered, like if it's this much that's covered up, I already know what I'm looking like. My brain will go to that perverted place. And so I have unfollowed people. Here recently, it's been like, everybody's taking their trips in the bikini. Like, I have to quickly scroll because I don't want to even stay on it long enough to be able to focus and like allow the enemy to pervert my view of people who I actually respect, and see as whole beautiful women. Um, that's even like shoot. Even when it comes to like music I listen to, I don't listen to a lot of um well, yeah, really I don't listen to a lot of any sexualized music because I don't need anything coming in through my eyes or through my ears that's going to push me towards going back to a place that God brought me from. Um, that's even like on Instagram, like I'm not even on the explore page. Not that, like, I feel like the explore page kind of mirrors like the people you're following, like what you're looking at. But the way them algorithms be set up, you never know what you're gonna see. So I never will look at the explore page. Like, if I gotta search something, I'm in the little search box and I'm out, because you never know what you're gonna see and where that will lead you. And so I'm just very intentional about what I allow in my eyes, what I allow into my ears, because I know the struggle that I've had with pornography, with being attracted to women. And so I have to make sure that I have structures in place to be able to keep me from going backwards. And so I just wanted to share that. I didn't want to share this to condemn anybody. I wanted to tell my story because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony. I've never really shared that struggle. And the enemy is not about to have nothing on me, okay? There's about to be no secrets in my life that he could use against me in any situation. And so that had to come out. But also in this season where there's so much temptation to look and to imagine and to, go there with my mind, I needed to speak out loud, that I'm not doing it. I don't, I love keep taking your trips and keep taking your pictures and showing us where you are. I love it. Just know that I can't look at it. And so this is not a condemning message to say stop posting your bikini pictures. Post what you want to post. You grown. Just know from my perspective and the perspective of people who have struggled with different issues, with maybe with pornography, maybe with same sex attraction, and have overcome those things. Just know that we have things in place, and there's certain boundaries we have to have in order to stay in the place, or in the direction, that God has us walking in, and not be able to fall back. So just know if I unfollow you, it's not because I don't love you. I love you, but I just don't want to know what it looked like under that. I don't want to know what it looked like under that. It's not for me to know. And so it's all love. And like I said, everybody has their convictions about different things. Like some people, don't get bothered by that. Some people, it's okay, like they see it in a certain way. But I just know that God's still working on me, and my mind is being renewed. But I'm still human, and temptation will always exist. And so I just have to have certain boundaries in place to be able to continue to walk in the calling that God has me on, and be able to come speak to you from a place of pure, just wanting to share my testimony. So, I hope that blessed somebody. If you're dealing with pornography, if that's something that you know is leading you in a direction that is not healthy, I recommend you watch There's No Condom for Your Heart. Michael Todd, I believe that's the one he did, where he talks about, actually, no, it's called The Compromise of Pornography, The Compromise of Porn. Michael Todd goes into detail about his story with pornography, and like gives a lot of insight on overcoming this specific addiction and hurdle. And I know it's common. I know we don't talk about it a lot, but just know I'm gonna talk about it, cause like I said, the enemy ain't about to have nothing to nobody about to have nothing to use against me. We gonna put it all out there, and we're gonna heal, and we're gonna continue to move forward, and God's gonna continue to renew my mind, and I'm gonna continue to grow and walk into what it is that He's calling me to do. And that requires me laying off some weights, and that requires me being transparent about what He's done for me, so that He can do things through me. And so I want to be super honest and transparent about this part of my life, and this part of the struggle that I have dealt with, and just what I'm doing to negate those things. And so I hope this was helpful to somebody, even if it was helpful in a sense of you being intentional about what you post. And again, not saying like don't post. I can't tell you what to do. You're grown. But just thinking about being mindful of the fact that there's people who struggle with perverted mindsets and perverted views of women and their bodies. And so I don't want to be a person that would give anybody else any temptation to do something that does not align with what God would have them to do. I don't want to put anybody in a predicament where, they could take anything I've done or said and turn it, into a perverted way. Not that we can control what anybody else does, but I'm just saying. I'm mindful of what I do and what I post and what I share and what I show. And I just think it's important to know that there's people out here who might not say it, but they're struggling with these things and are not comfortable to talk about it. And so I just want to be a perspective for you to understand that point of view and that perspective. So anyway, if you watch this, thanks. Didn't really have a plan for this. I just knew it was time to say something about it. And so this is that something. I'm glad it's out there. I feel a weight lifted, because that's a secret I don't got to keep no more, okay? And so I'm feeling good. But I hope that this really was some kind of encouraging, or at least enlightening, or something. Maybe it was even funny to you. Maybe it was a little comical. Whatever it was, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And, let me know if it's a struggle you're struggling with. If I can send you some more resources, I would love to. But we overcoming by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So I'm gonna keep talking, and ain't nobody gonna be able to shut me up about what I've been through, because God has brought me through way too much for me to be quiet about it, and for me not to share where I am, where I was, and where God is taking me. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, comment, tell me your thoughts about anything that I talked about today, because I feel like there was a little bit in there. There's a little bit of everything in there. But I love you guys, and I mean it. Thank you. This is Angie Inspires. I just want to be me and inspire you. Amen. Be blessed.